Welcome back, everybody, to the CHEK blog. We're here again today with Jennie Delbridge, CHEK faculty member and owner-founder of Peak of Wellbeing in Switzerland. And today, Jennie is going to do all parents out there, especially first-time parents, a huge, huge favor and answer for them this question that you've all been asking. Even if you're not a first-time parent, you may be still asking this on child 2 or 3 or wherever you're at. Um, is it possible for babies and infants to sleep through the night from 12 weeks old? You've probably all parents asked yourself these questions, or if you've ever babysit for your nieces or nephews or whatever, friends' children, you've also almost certainly asked this question. So this is great, and I know you're going to help a lot of people with this, Jennie. So welcome back from me and from all the people out there.
Thank you, James. Great to be here. And I am so excited about passing on this information today.
Yes.
I do only have one child. I have an 8-month-old baby, but I have worked with a lot of parents. So, James, we're going to have to redo this interview when I have baby number 2, so I can say it really works with 2 children.
That's right. A bigger sample size. We need a bigger sample size.
Exactly. So, yes, it's totally possible. Our daughter, Bella, as I said, she's 8 months old. She slept through the night from 12 weeks old. So she slept from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. every night. And I actually took note because I wanted to be authentic about this comment here. And she has only woken twice in the night in that entire period. So from 3 months old to 8 months old.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of envious parents out there right now.
It's not my intention to annoy everyone or to make out that I'm perfect or any of those things. You know, I go to these baby groups, James, and there's all these tired mums and they're saying, oh, it's tough, isn't it? And I'm thinking, God, I really don't want to tell anyone that I had a good eight hours sleep last night and I'm feeling great. So no, it's not my intention at all. I'm not some kind of super mom. You know, it is, in my opinion, literally just through some great CHEK training, particularly on the nutritional side, and some sleep tips I'm going to be passing on today that I believe has created that outcome.
Fantastic. Let's do it.
Let's go for it. So, first of all, for mums that are breastfeeding or nursing, as you say in the US, it is really important that mum or mom's diet is really full of good quality fats. Okay. I actually did a little experiment, as you do when you do these weird things in the baby group, and I actually got everybody in the group to express or pump off some milk.
Okay.
Because I was really fascinated. You might not know what that is, James, but actually I will explain for the men out there. But that's actually a device where we express the milk off the breast.
Okay. I sort of had that idea, but
just so you know, I'm sure you've never seen one.
No.
But, you know, maybe one day you will.
Maybe.
Anyway, back to topic.
Yeah.
So I got all the women in the group to express some milk because what I really wanted to see was the difference in the milk quality, and I wanted to be able to smell the milk and actually be able to, because I'd only obviously been. It was really the color in and 2 of the clients that were 2 of my clients that I've coached. The yellow color and the difference in that milk was unbelievable. It was like looking at, you know, yellow butter and some white, and the thickness of the milk was worlds apart as well.
Wow.
So it's my belief that due to the diet, which I'll go into in more detail, the babies are able to lie night or children without having a blood sugar crash.
Oh, so this is the hypothesis, right? It's we were talking about, actually, interestingly, blood sugar in our last session, and so it's a blood sugar issue for the baby.
Often, yes. I mean, when the babies are very small, so you know, up until 12 weeks, or maybe even 20 weeks, babies or very small do need to feed in the night to get enough calories. But as soon as the babies have reached some body weight and the food supply, so the milk is adequate, they should be able to make it through the night, no problem.
Okay.
So to give you an idea in terms of the amounts of fats a nursing a nursing mother may have to eat, I probably increase my levels of saturated fats. So by that I mean coconut oil, ghee, lard, duck fat, these kinds of fats, to almost 4 to 5 tablespoons daily.
Okay.
Okay. And it's that I believe that it was helping to sustain really great levels of cholesterol and fat in the milk, which the child or the baby through the night. Okay. Now, if mothers are not breastfeeding for whatever reason, and that's the case sometimes certain formulas don't necessarily contain the right kind of elements to be able to sustain babies. So a really great tip, which I've done with many clients when able to breastfeed, is if you go onto the Weston A. Price website, there is a wonderful nutritionist called Sally Fallon, and she actually has her own recipe for making up a really fantastic infant formula, which is, in my opinion, the closest thing to breast milk that there is. Okay. So I've also had some great results using that formula with clients.
And we know Sally Fallon is not afraid of fat either. So
no, she is not, and she's had 4 children, so she should know. Apparently, they're all good sleepers. So she's got a good ratio to go on there.
Yes, she does. That's a pretty good sample size. Yes.
Now, moving on to older children, because I work with many clients, and there are children as old as 4 and 5 years old who are still not sleeping through the night. So again, this is often down to a blood sugar issue. So the first place for parents to look at is really at the evening meal. Because what will often happen if the evening meal wasn't quite balanced for that child is that the child will experience a drop in blood sugar around about midnight or 2-3 a.m. in the morning. That will trigger the hormone cortisol, and the children will be up and ready to party.
Until they crash and they're grumpy.
Until they crash and they're grumpy, and the circle continues.
Yes.
And I have a huge amount of empathy and compassion for parents that are not getting enough sleep. Sleep deprivation is a form of torture. So if parents are feeling grumpy and shouting at kids and all this kind of thing, no judgment, but sleep right, everyone feels much better.
Yeah.
So with young children, again, it's really important, like we talked about on the last interview, to make sure that there are good fats, good proteins, and good quality carbohydrates in the evening meal for the child. Okay. My advice is to really minimize the amount of starchy carbohydrates, such as potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice, pasta, bread, these kinds of foods in the evening meal. It's probably much better to stick to above ground green vegetables or salads, some good proteins, so meat or fish, and some good quality fats such as butter or coconut oil or olive oil on the vegetables, for example. Okay. Doing that at night should minimize the drop in blood sugar, and within a couple of weeks, your children should be sleeping through the night.
I have a question. Do children follow the primal pattern diet types just as their parents do, or do you sort of have to experiment with children on those ratios on their own, or?
Found, James, is that when children get healthy, so when there's far less processed foods and sugars in their diet, for example, they are just fantastic at figuring out what they need intuitively. My advice is, what I get parents to do is put the food out on the table. We don't need to make special meals. We eat, the whole family can eat the same food, and just let the children choose intuitively whatever they feel they need. Obviously, in the early days, they'll need a little bit of guidance. There's been more sugar in the diet, but eventually they will start to figure out, wow, I feel a lot better. I can play for longer with my friends when I sleep more. So, oh yeah, I'm going to eat some more of this fat or some more of this chicken. Children, when they get healthy, are far easier to deal with than adults, to be quite frank. And I mean that thinking about my own past history as well. Because, they have less patterns and emotions they've created around food. There's less emotional ties to food.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It's much more as a fuel, whereas we've got, when I was really sad about my divorce, I ate all these lovely cookies for months on end, and I've still got a loving relationship with them. That hasn't gone on with the child. So it's far easier.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah, so if you get that evening meal more balanced and you find that your child, particularly older children, are still not sleeping through the night, my advice is to give them a very small bedtime snack. Now, obviously, we don't want too much food in there because they've got to digest that food in the night, but very small piece of good quality protein, such as a little bit of turkey, for example, or a little bit of chicken, or maybe a little piece of avocado, etc., whatever the child will eat, should really, really help to make sure that they make it through the night. And sometimes the snack can just help for a couple of weeks until the routine is settled in terms of sleep.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Because what actually happens with sleep is that children and babies wake, like adults, 2, 3 in the morning, and then a pattern is created.
Mm-hmm.
A pattern is created of drinking milk or drinking water, or going to the bathroom. Often it's nothing really to do with the food anymore. It's just to do with the waking pattern.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I found it really, really beneficial to help parents create a really great bedtime routine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the body loves rhythm. Adults, babies, dogs, cats, everybody on the planet loves rhythm.
Yeah.
So my advice where you can is always to try to get up and go to bed at a similar time every day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that doesn't mean we can't have fun and we have to live like monks. Of course, we can go out and the kids can watch a little bit of TV sometimes, etc. But to keep, the 80-20 rule, as Paul CHEK advises, so to keep that bedtime and that time at a similar time for as long as possible is a really good idea.
There might be a few people who are watching this who don't know what the 80-20 rule is. Could you
okay.
explain?
Yeah, it basically means that if we follow our diet and lifestyle choices, the plan that's been laid out for us, 80% of the time, we can have a bit of fun with the 20%.
Yeah.
Obviously tied in alignment with your goals. So if 20% of the time we are, let's say as an adult, consuming huge amounts of alcohol and that's actually taking us further away from our goals, well, then we might need to, relook at things. But yeah, in terms of sleep, what that means is, if in the week, for example, we go to bed at a similar time every night, it's not going to do us a whole lot of harm to have one later night at the weekend, for example.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, first advice is the rhythms and the times. Second advice is to really make sure that your child's room is as dark as possible. Yeah. We evolved in caves, and it was the light coming through the cave which hit our skin, which released the get up and go hormone and actually got us to wake up. So even the tiniest chink of light in your child's room, such as coming through the curtains, street lights, these little night lights, are really going to prevent your child from having high quality restful sleep. And I know it sounds a bit strange to shutter, a tiny baby in the pitch black, as an adult. It can feel, God, is this, I remember going, oh my God, can I leave her? But they sleep brilliantly. Remember they've been in the womb. It's pretty dark in there.
Right. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So it's more to do with our own feelings than the baby on the whole. Obviously, with older children, it's a really good thing to slowly help them get used to the dark.
Yeah.
Okay, so if they've had a night lamp, just shutting in the dark is obviously not going to be a great idea.
Yeah.
But, explain to older children the reason we're doing it. Start off with some blackout blinds and leave the door open, for example, and slowly close the door, slowly, reduce the nightlight, etc., so they get used to it.
Right.
So, yeah, those two tips combined with the food usually have some really, really significant effects.
Yeah. Well, that's brilliant. And it's interesting, a lot of the same things we talk about helping with adult sleep really sort of carry over.
Yeah, it's really is exactly the same. There's, James, there's so many sleep theories out there. I have parents who are really distressed because they've been trying to let children cry it out, which for a parent is super stressful. But I can understand, if you're needing to get some sleep and you've got a 2-year-old child. There are the tips that, you have to not give the child any eye contact and put them back to bed. And I'm sure all of these techniques have their, they work, but they're really hard on the parent and the child emotionally. And I just find if you can help the child to get their blood sugar balanced, create the right kind of breast milk or homemade formula, put some simple bedtime routines in place, make the room dark, you just don't have to do any of those kind of things. You do that for a couple of months and that child or baby is just sleeping and, you haven't got all of that emotional anxiety going on. Great. So, as I said before, if I can do it with those simple things, anyone can, because I had no experience before, we had our little baby. So just applying those really simple factors that are in Paul Chek's book, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy, they work like a charm.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Jenny, and I'm sure people who will apply it will also be thanking you, even if it's only sort of from afar. But
Yeah.
that was great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good luck to everyone out there, and I hope you have some nice restful sleep.
Yes,
Thank you,
yes.
James.
You're welcome, and let's do this again next month.
Definitely. Looking forward to it.
All right. Bye bye now.
Bye. Take care.